Yo, do you remember the dream life you built for yourself by the time you're 25?
Yeah. Let's all laugh at that together.
Now you're 30 something and you don't have the car,
The job.
The business.
the spouse, and feeling a little like a mess.
We're here to tell you you're still on track to that dream and doing just fine. I'm Beleza.
I'm Kiki.
I'm Gigi, and this is your podcast. Welcome.
Welcome to 30 and a Mess. What's going on, 30 and a Mess? It's your girl, Beleza.
It's me, Kiki.
And it's your girl, Gigi. Welcome back to all those returning, and welcome to the new ones. If you hear, you know what I'm about to tell you. Your life is probably still in shambles, and it's all good because as long as you got your bucket and your mops, we should be good to go. But what's the word for today, Beleza? What we talking about today, Beleza?
Bro, I think we talking about human nature.
Sing the song. What's the song? Sing the song. Go ahead.
Tell them that it's human nature.
Hey. Get it.
Do they know me that way?
Hey.
I like living this way.
No, kidding, y'all. How was y'all weekend before we jump in?
It was good.
Oh, that's good.
You know, Christmas around. Hope y'all got y'all list and stuff together. Thanksgiving is over.
Right.
So hopefully you hit up all them Black Friday deals.
Listen, they probably still eating stuff from Thanksgiving. Like they got the stuffing in the freezer.
Believe
they
that.
They got the ham.
Believe that.
Yeah, I know y'all sick of the food, but it's hanging there because there's more of it coming.
Either throw it out or finish it up because you gotta re-up for Christmas.
Y'all better not throw that food out. Y'all eat it up. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You gotta figure it out before the next round comes.
So, since we're speaking on human nature, what does it mean to be human?
I think we forget as people that we are flesh. It's gonna sound weird, but like we're flesh. We feel. We're supposed to feel. And a lot of times we discard our feelings and just being truly just being in our body. I think sometimes we try to escape our body instead of just really sitting in our body. You know how people you just need to have a seat and just sit in your space. People, a lot of people don't do that because they don't want to face their true reality, which is them being a human and their life their situations that they're in. That's what I think is being a human.
Wow, I think being a human means feeling the full stream, full range of emotion. So that's love, that's feeling hurt, that's feeling strong, that's feeling embarrassment, that's feeling annoyed. I feel like it's human. The human nature is being able to feel all those things because robots can't feel those things. Computers can't feel those things. They can be programmed to emulate them, but it's not organic like the human experience. And so I think that being human just means experiencing the world around you from all the spaces and all the places and all the experiences that we have with us.
Yeah. When I hear being human, I actually think of having an awareness to your surroundings, almost like just being aware that you have a life, being aware of what's around you, being aware that you're seeing, that you're hearing, that you're thinking, that just knowing that there's potential in being aware of where you are. That's what I think of when I think of humanness or human nature. But what classifies humanness?
We're not like birds and alligators and stuff. So I think being human is different from being an animal, an animal that doesn't maintain conscious thought processes and make decisions based on that. Animals do have that, but it's not like they don't need memory. It's ingrained in we need memory. We need to be able to remember where things are or how to respond.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to counter that because how do you know what an animal feels or no? Just because we can't connect with them, like we can't speak to them, doesn't mean they don't feel those things. Doesn't mean they don't have memories.
Well, animals do have memories. I
Yeah, they
mean,
have memory,
I,
but I'm saying like they're gonna always be like an animal's not gonna go out here and apply for a job. Like they're not gonna go by like the laws of the land, like you gotta pay rent. Like they're not doing that kind of stuff. Like it's not, even if we were to relegate them or teach them that kind of mode of operation, I don't think they would still align with
But
that. Like
do you think,
they know how to hunt for their own food, they know how to make their own shelter. Like it's not.
but do you think because we're humans and we've created these rules, these new rules, as
Mhm.
opposed to where animals, they adapt to the nature that's given to them, where we didn't adapt, we more so say what's going to happen. We're not like, oh, this tree is growing here. It's like, this tree is growing here and it's bothering me, I need to cut it down.
Mm.
but but that's still a adaptation because a lot of times the trees and things were being cut down because humans needed homes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They figured out, okay, here's something that I could potentially build something with.
Mhm.
And that had to come from adaptation.
Mhm.
True, but I'm asking because a lot of people build homes so they can create assets for themselves, not because I see this place, it'll be great for Gigi because she doesn't have a place, and make it for her so she has it.
That's the mentality now.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
that's now. That's
before,
more current.
houses were built because they needed shelter.
Shelter from the elements.
That's fair.
Yeah. Um have either of you read Animal Farm?
No.
No.
So George Orwell, he wrote this book called Animal Farm, and it talks about like the animals overthrowing the humans. And I think
Oh,
in that book it highlights how animals aren't able to organize in a way to overthrow humans, right? Like humans, we have the capacity to organize to overthrow different systems, different like kill different animals, like we just have like, I think, the mind to organize and change the way that we behave. And I think animals don't have that.
okay.
So is that what classifies the humanist? The Alice having the mind to organize and kind of put things in place.
I think so. I think that's part of it. Yeah. Okay, so I think that that's what classifies as humanness.
We're the ones who classify ourselves as humans. I think we're part of a higher being and plan, and that's how I would specify us. We're part of a being and plan, but we're getting in our own way because of our mindsets and because we can speak. We're using that to our advantage, of course, to elevate and innovate. But I don't know if we're doing that correctly. That's how I would specify humans. I think we're part of a bigger picture, but because we're in our own way. We're literally in our own way. So we never see how we connect to whales or dolphins or literally nature. Um, Instead, uh, we eliminate them because it's in our.
Oh, don't put that on me.
I say
We
we
know
as humans,
we know who eliminating them, and it ain't none of us. It
but
ain't us.
but again, it's we as
They exterminate everything.
true,
And they know who they are.
but we as humans allow the ruling. We just get into our own way as individuals in this world.
Hmm.
We get in our own way, but I do think we were made to do bigger and better things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Honestly, I think that's a good way of looking at it because like I think we spoke on it before where we're like we're limited in a lot of things that are pushed out to us.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't understand our full potential. And that's, I feel a part of what but as I was saying, in terms of like, we can connect to so many things. However, there are so many things that are blocking that connection
Mm-hmm.
because society or the government wants us to kind of focus on certain things.
Yeah.
But on another end of the spectrum, I still go back to what I say in terms of classification of humanness. I still feel like there's a level of alertness that other things does not have that we do, which
Mhm.
is why we're considered to be human.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I think kind of even piggybacking off of Beleza, do you guys believe we have powers as human that maybe other forms of life don't have?
Ooh, we getting deep. Yes, I do. I do feel that we have powers that we're afraid of. We have powers that we don't unlock. And I'm not gonna say because we don't know how to use them. I think once you feel them, it scares you. You ever had a feeling that somebody's, I don't know, that you connect with somebody so deep that it scares you?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Like what is that feeling? Do we kind of ignore it like, yo, I'm tripping, I'm bugging, or you feel it for a few seconds, but then you go back and say, I'm tripping, I'm bugging, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it could be something deeper. You just don't truly explore it because you don't want to seem quote unquote crazy. Or some people who be like, yeah, I'm a bigger empath, or I
Mm-hmm.
do this, or this is my trait. But some people, they're just so talented. Some people
Mm-hmm.
follow their talents, and people are like, well, how are they so influential? I mean, they're using their true gifts. A lot of us on this earth don't. So I do think like that's why people will say once you want to break your whatever, and you feel, when you feel that gut, like this feels right,
Mm-hmm.
follow it. But I do think like I don't think we really use our full potential, or it scares us and we're like, well, we know we have it, we just don't know how to use it. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing, as humans, how is it going to make us money?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, I can quit my 9 to 5 and do sculptures all day, but is that really going to make me money? Because I need money
Mm-hmm.
now. I have rent.
It more so like our need to survive. That's the power we have over other forms of life.
But to me, I think that's our weakness. And this is why we don't hit our full potential, because we're trained, or in our minds, we've been taught like, you have to survive. You have to survive. So focus on surviving first. And then all your potential, all your gifts, and all that shit, you can focus on that later. Focus on surviving first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Focus on it first. But I think our greatest strength is our God given talent.
Hmm. What about you, Gigi?
Humans, as humans, we do have powers that we can tap into. And one of the things, and where that I know that is because in our dream episode about dreams, and I talked about knowing that person's birth name without being told that person's birth name,
Mm,
I know that we have some untapped connectivity to each other, but
yeah.
because we have so many actions from developing that and tapping into that, we don't use it.
Do you
Hmm.
think that's why people tell people like to meditate? Um,
I think someone experienced meditation from the Eastern culture and brought it to America to capitalize on it, and then they started like overusing it and misusing it, and so
mm.
now they have added it as if it is a part of our culture to meditate. But it's that meditation is a religious thing. I don't think people realize that, like, meditation is religious,
Is it
yoga's
religious, or is
religious.
it is it a spiritual is it a spiritual
No,
part of life?
so it's a religious practice, like it's taken from religious practice.
Okay.
um in Eastern culture, it's a part of like the religious practices, and I don't know who started it, but they went to the Eastern culture and brought it to Western culture um as a la carte, but it's not really a la carte. Like, it's not really like something that's supposed to be utilized as a one-off or individually. Like, it's supposed to be a whole practice. But that's beside the point. I think that I know that we're supposed to be connected in certain ways because we are also able to, like, when you are centered, meaning like you are very in tune with the world around you,
Mm-hmm.
we can communicate with people who don't even speak the same language, right? So how is that, how else is that possible? Like, we know if somebody says they're hungry, like, we have certain emotions. A person I've never met in my life, if I'm telling them I'm hungry without using words, they will get it, they will understand that. So there has to be some type of power that we just do not tap into because we're distracted by so many different pieces of living and being and living the human experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think they put money there, they put sexual desire up in front of us. And as you said, I agree with you. Now that I've been looking at it, they do push fear a lot.
Mm.
So I think it's like certain things they do to keep our mind distracted, because if our minds were able to focus on being connected to the earth that we live on and the people that we interact with, our power would be so magnified that we would tap into a space that would not allow us to be controlled by fear or by money or by survival or all these other things that come as additions to the human experience.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. What about you, Kiki? Like, do you think we have powers?
I'm not gonna lie, y'all changed my answer. I'm
Really?
not
What was
gonna
your
lie.
what was your first answer and what's your answer now?
Well, I was gonna say that I don't think we have necessarily power, but
Mhm.
I think our level of communication is a power in itself. But
Mhm.
now, just hearing you guys, I will say that we do have some things that are being blocked. I will definitely
Mhm.
agree with that. I definitely think there is a focus on blocking certain things for us to reach our full potential. And I think that connectivity that you guys were talking about is a really big part of that.
Mhm.
Because you're right. I think people can connect spiritually for on very high levels if they focus.
Mhm.
I do think there is a sense of. I was just talking about this last night. We were watching an episode of Catfish,
Okay.
Ah.
and they were trying to find a, I guess, like a medium that was reaching out to a female saying that they were talking to their father. I personally do not believe in psychics. That is me. But I do believe people can connect to certain things. I just don't think the dead is going to come back and talk to you. That's just me.
So for
Oh, I
so
never
I'm
knew that,
glad you
Barbara.
mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that, Kiki, because I don't. It's not really like It's not like the dead is talking to you. It's not that. It definitely is an energy, and like
Yeah,
you feel it. Like for example, the when I heard the person's name, it wasn't like a loud, clear voice. No, it was not even like it wasn't. It was like a brainwave. Like my brain just automatically thought of the name. It thought of the person's name, and then as I kept looking at the person's picture, I was like, "That's the person's name." Like, not. It wasn't like I heard that voice. Like, no. Like, you know how when you think about what you're hungry for, and you're like, "Oh, I'm hungry for." Like when you think about it, you're like, "Oh, I have the taste for pizza."
yep,
Like it's just a feeling. You know what that tastes like. You know what that
But
You know what those tastes were like attached to. So that's for me when I picked up on that person's name, birth name. Um,
but
that's what it felt like. It didn't feel like the word itself. Like it's not like a you don't hear clear language because that's not how energy speaks. Like that's not
yeah.
how
right.
that's not
But
how
also, how
it
do you know
speaks.
that you're not tapped in as much as you can be, where you could possibly hear someone?
But when I was a teenager, there were times that I didn't necessarily hear a voice, but I might have felt uncomfortable with something. So it might be like my antennas will go up, and some like I remember going to a dance or something, and there was going to be like an after spot that everybody was going to go to, and I was fully down to go to the after spot. But
Mhm.
as we were going to the after spot, like something was like, nah, go home, go home, go home, go home, go
Mhm.
home, like, and it was like this, just like an irritant, almost like a
Mhm.
gnat that was
Mhm.
around me, to the point that I was like, you know
Yeah.
what, y'all, I'm just gonna go ahead and go home, not
Mhm.
knowing if anything bad is gonna happen or not, whatever it is. But it was just an irritant, and like you said, that could have been an energy telling me, hey, something's going on, but it wasn't a voice.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think that's a power in itself,
It
just people
is.
feeling the energy or feeling like something bad is going to happen, or feeling like maybe I should go over here or not do this and that. I
Mhm.
think all of that is a part of a power. And I didn't think about it like that before. When you have an intuition, I feel like
Mhm.
that is a power in itself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you feel energy, that is a power in itself.
Mhm.
Anything that is other than just what you see in front of you, I feel like that can be a power.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I have to thank you guys. 'Cause I definitely didn't see it as a power before. I just thought it was just random things happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like for real, for like our like they do so many things so that we can ignore our intuition, right?
I
Like
agree. I've
there's a
always seen
lot.
things as power. But again, I was always raised on that too. Like if you feel something, that's a spirit telling you something or God telling you something.
Yeah.
I think the meaning of life is the interaction with people and seeing what you can gain from people and how you can elevate that to grow yourself as a person. That's what I've
Mm.
always believed. And I think that's why I try to connect with as much people as I can. And I always know if God has put them in my life, what was I supposed to get from them? What was I supposed
Mm.
to take from them? What was I supposed to instill in myself? And what was I supposed to get rid of? But I do think I feel like that's the purpose.
Somebody who said that life is with like suffering, and our job here is to alleviate the next person's suffering as much as possible. And that for me, it when I heard that, it felt
Mm.
like truth. And so I think that's what life is a little bit about. Like, it's a little bit about like enjoying this experience, because like it for me, it's naive to believe that this is the only form of existence that we go through
Mm-hmm.
as beings. Like, I don't believe that this is the only um experience we get to have. um but because we have no memory of any other experiences, of course we take this as like face value. But I don't believe that this is it. Like, I believe that there's other realms, there's other worlds. Like, I believe that there is just other experiences that we might not remember that we're gonna have, or that we will have, or
The
I don't.
multiverse.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like it's naive to, because like we're finding out new animals every year. Like every time we look
Mm.
around, there's like a new animal or a new tree or a new plant like
Mm-hmm.
that I've never seen before. So for me, it would be very arrogant to believe that this is the only form of existence
Yeah.
or experience that we.
Mhm.
So I think that life as humans is really about just enjoying the experiences and lessening the suffering for those around us, if possible.
I will say that I don't have a full understanding of what the meaning of life is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody does. I do think it centers around being good, like Gigi say, like just doing good in the world and being kind to others and doing good deeds for others. And I also think it has something to do with finding fulfillment for yourself.
Mm.
But I feel like a big part of finding fulfillment is with helping others
Mm-hmm.
around you, or that could just be what I think it is for myself. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times it's within ourselves, the meaning of life, and until we start to tap into that, we just are kind of moving like zombies
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in a sense.
I'm glad you said that, because think about how easy negativity spreads, right? Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
there's no way that life is about negativity. Like, it has to be
No way.
about the difficult things that it is to do. Like, it's difficult to restrain from like eating all the breads and desserts and getting fat and sassy. Like it's not easy. It's not easy to get up and work out. It's not easy to like be nice when somebody's being really nasty towards you. So I think
Mhm.
that life has to be about like going against the grain in a way that, if negativity is being pushed at you, then you give positivity. Like, it's
Mhm.
really about like doing the things that challenge you and that give you resistance.
Yeah, I will say this. A guy that I was talking to, and we were having this conversation last night. It's a guy that we no longer talk, and we were saying the reasons why we don't talk anymore.
Mhm.
Um, he was like, that's one thing that I've always admired about you, and it made us so different. This You always see everything with so much positivity. I just don't see that, and I
Mm.
envied you of it because having that positivity probably got you where you are, but I just don't know how you see it, and I'm so envious of it. So
Dang, he needs to stop watching some shows or something, because
I mean,
I'm not
we
gonna see
talked about
positivity.
yeah, no, we talked about that. He's but it also has to deal with his upbringing, how we've talked about in past episodes. He never saw it. He never saw it,
Mhm.
and even though he sees it now, he doesn't believe it now.
Mm,
He doesn't
Yeah.
believe that could be real. So even with me, like he made it very clear, like I love that about you, but it was hard for me to reciprocate it and give it back because
Yep.
I don't I don't think it's a thing.
mm,
Yep. And that even goes back to a guy I used to talk to that I feel like was in the same boat as him, because like there was such an emptiness about him,
Hmm.
and he just did it just seemed like he did not see anything in the world as being good, and he was walking as if he didn't see anything in the world as being good.
Hmm.
yeah.
That greatly affects people's lives.
Yeah. But I also think that men have a different experience as humans. Like that experience is something else, man. Like even looking on the outside looking in, like, yes, it's hard for women. Yes, it is very challenging for women. But I
Yeah.
also think it's very challenging for men as well. And I think if both persons, like if both forms of human identities could just acknowledge the difficulty in each other's and focus on like making the suffering less,
Yeah.
I think we'd be in a better place. But I think that that's interesting that you both said that about the two men that you've talked to, because I've met men that also are not able to see the good in the world as well. And I've also noticed how like even with like in education, in society, a lot of males will gravitate toward things that are not quote unquote positive influences, drugs, sex, and alcohol, the usual. But like but like that's an interesting realization I just had.
And then we also have to think about the men that we speak to, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a different expectations on men than there are women
On
as
women,
well.
yeah.
There's a completely different expectation for them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and it's a burden. There's burdens in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we were to describe what we believe an alpha male is, a lot of that comes from you need to be hard. Well, actually, even erasing all of that I'm about to say, men usually say they cannot be loved unconditionally. There's always a condition to men being loved. So that in itself speaks to the burden that is already placed on men in society
Yeah.
and how they have to walk in the world because they have to provide something to feel that they are loved.
So I'm glad you said that, because I feel like that conditional love doesn't happen until they fuck up a woman's heart. Because I do believe when we first meet our person that we think we're gonna be with, we love him unconditionally. Like we love him deeply. Like we're not thinking about, oh, are you gonna provide?
So,
I'm just saying. I think like young love. Like if we were to stay with that person, like and grow with that person, I don't think that love would be like, well, you're not providing, so I go. Like I don't think it would be that.
well, we're
You think
talking
so?
about, we're more so talking about adults. To your point, when we were young, we didn't have adult life situations.
Oh,
A
that's
lot of us
true.
didn't. A lot of people had to grow up fast. I get that, y'all. But talking
Okay,
about
that's
that young love, you in high school, the biggest thing you had to worry about is if you was going to the basketball game or not,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
Or you going to who you going to the dance with? You're not thinking about nothing else, really.
Yeah.
But um, where I said, well, I I will say, I thought something that didn't matter to me, and
Mhm,
I'm just unlocking this. Like when I tell y'all, I am unlocking this week.
mhm.
I have to digest it, so I don't want to say it fully, but I will say something that I thought didn't matter in me dating someone. I
It
think that was a
matters.
complete lie. But it took a man to do it for me, and in order for me to realize is this is exactly what I want. He had to provide me with something
Yeah.
in order for me to feel love for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I now have to kind of not kind of, I might have to take back what I said earlier that a man does need to provide to feel that unconditional love. And it's unfortunate. But I see, I now, because
You
I've
get it.
experienced it, I now understand.
Yeah, I think that's the only way men can express love too. Like a man who's willing to sacrifice his
Yeah.
comfort for his woman, I think that's love.
Right. But he has to provide that. He has to provide something.
Yeah, but that's a little bit of sacrifice, right? Because like making sure that he is conscientious of the person that he's like giving to or like providing for or protecting for. Like
Right.
it's like it's like selfless.
Yeah. But for women and for children,
Yeah.
they come in this world, you love them. It doesn't matter. No matter what they do, how they do it, you love them. For women, they're beautiful, they're gorgeous, you admire them, you love them.
Mhm.
They don't have to do anything. Men, they have to provide security or safety or a
You don't
feeling
think
of
women have to do
touch, of
that
finance.
though?
Not the way men have to do it.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Not the way, to your point, yes. But
Oh,
I do think it's easier to love a woman because you already know they're nurturing.
Yeah, you already know they're gonna know. Yeah, that's
They're
true.
gonna nurture it. So they're gonna be loved, and they give birth to life.
Yeah, you
They
have to.
give-
Yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of
Which is why a lot of times
Love.
men are so connected to their mother
yeah,
who gives them unconditional love.
yeah,
That's it. It doesn't matter what they do.
yeah,
They're getting unconditional love. We
Yeah.
as women, when we're dating them, there is conditions.
yeah,
I don't care how cute you are. I don't care how much I love you. If you fail to provide for me or provide safety, you are gone.
yeah. Yep.
If it takes 15, 20 years, you will be gone because I'm going to bitch about this for 15 to
Until I get
20
that.
years.
And so
Mhm.
I now see like the pressures of a man, like, I have to do this, I have to do that in order to gain that. But I mean, I no longer feel bad about it
Yeah.
because a man who wants to do it will do it. And a man who doesn't do it, I think the problem is that we're holding the men who don't want to do it accountable.
For no reason. Like he ain't want to do it for himself. What makes you think he gonna want to do it for you? Like,
So it's like that, I think, and that's why I think the beat up is. And then the guys who actually want to do it, a lot of women don't give them the time of day. So I was like, oh, no, you may be right. But now I know that's what I want.
that's dope.
That's exactly what I want. And I don't want to feel guilty about having that because I know a man can provide that without me feeling guilty.
Amen.
So, what affirmations do you need to wire into your programming? Meaning, like moving forward, what do you feel needs to be your affirmations?
As a human,
As a
right?
human,
Like,
I deserve love and I shouldn't be afraid of it.
Mm.
Just flow with it.
oh, those are
You'll
some
be
good ones.
like I said, this is all unlocking, but I now feel confident to what used to just be words. I feel it now
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
as a human.
Mm.
That's a
For
good one.
me, it definitely is. You are enough.
Mm,
That one, I said it in one of our other episodes. Like that is something I have to say to myself as a human.
mm-hmm.
Enough. Like a lot of this stuff that we're measuring ourselves up to is made up. Like
Mm.
it's literally made up.
You said that with passion, girl.
Yeah, because it's, like somebody just got up one day and was like, you know what? In order to be successful, you got to get up at 3 a.m. Like shut your ass up. Like shut up.
Yo,
Like there are people who work 4 hours a day and they successful as hell. So stop it.
you ain't lying.
Um. So that's one of my affirmations, and the other affirmation that I also hold near and dear to me is don't accept any prognosis that doesn't empower you. So as I also mentioned in the last episode, y'all gotta go. The newbies, y'all new here, y'all gotta go listen back to the other stuff.
For real.
But
We get deep, y'all.
we do. But like, I think that if anyone's talking down on you or like trying to like break your spirit as a human, like you gotta just be like, listen, like you return to sender. Like you say, I'm not gonna be nothing. Okay, that's what you're saying about yourself because you ain't talking to me. Like
You
Mm.
thought I
I'm
was feeling
gonna.
you? I'm gonna say the one that I don't say, and I'm going to start saying moving forward is I love myself the way I am today.
Uh,
Oh, that's a
Um,
good one.
I
I
hate
think for me, I focus so much on changing certain aspects of myself and looking a certain way and
Mhm,
acting a certain way and seeking validation in other people. I feel like other people always got something to say about what they feel I should be or look like or whatever it is. And honestly, I just need to just love where I'm at today.
mhm.
That's just what it is. I don't care how I can make myself better. Yeah, sure, I could. But I also need to enjoy the journey and enjoy where I see myself right now. What part of life have you still not figured out?
The part of human experience that I haven't figured out are so many different pieces, right? Because like I told y'all, and like one of the other episodes is like I didn't really have like a rubric. I didn't really have like any structure. Um, I'm really starting from scratch, right? So I'm learning so many different aspects, like not only romantic relationships, but like platonic relationships too. I'm navigating that. I think that that's something I'm still learning. I'm still growing through. Um, I'm also learning and navigating through like being domestic. Like, yes, I
Mhm.
can cook. Yes, I can clean, but like, I don't. Like, DoorDash is like my friend. Um,
You live by yourself. I got cook.
DoorDash is my friend, and then I will hire for laundry and I'm about to hire for a housekeeper. Like it's like I want to be more domestic. Like I want to save money, but the way my brain is set up, as some learning I have to do to figure out how I can fit that in my schedule with all the things that I have that I'm dealing with, you know?
No, it
Uh,
makes sense. It makes sense. I found out
oh,
one of my other friends, he does he gets a house cleaner and a housekeeper. And I was like, dang, does he? I'm like, yeah. I was like,
mhm,
don't think he out here doing it by himself. I was like, oh, my bad, my bad.
mhm,
I
mhm.
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
And then I also am thinking on being like I'm working in the area of being more vulnerable and being more trusting. And I
Mm,
think those are important. I think that's what is affecting like my platonic and romantic relationships. Like I trust you, but only as far as I can throw you. Like
Yeah, so and a lot of things I'm
so
locking
I'm
in.
working on that. Like I'm working on those different pieces as a human because I don't think animals experience. Well, animals do experience a distrust, but they trust you at first. Like they gon' like you feed them, you give them shelter, they trust you. But if
Yeah,
you whooping their ass, they don't really trust you after that.
yeah. So I'll say this because I didn't really finish. I said, I only said the term love. So as I'm unlocking this, I always take a challenge on, but I'm noticing with love, there's a give and take,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
sometimes I may come off as someone can take my words as that's final and that's it. But I won't know that's what they think is final and it because it's never expressed to me. I was blessed enough to find out, you know, somebody to express to me like, well, how you say it makes it sound like it's final and there's no budging on it.
Mhm.
You know? And so I realize I have to better explain myself in certain things. Like, no, it's not final. This is how I feel today, though, and need you to understand I feel strong in that stance. But a year from now, it could be completely different because my mindset is in a completely different space. And plus, a part of it is probably um I didn't use the word scared, but I said something along those lines.
Mhm.
And he was like, you don't have to be scared though.
Mhm.
you know I was like, yeah, it's hard. It's easier said than done though.
Mhm.
It's so much easier said than done. So if you can understand that I am scared but
Mhm.
I'm willing and open, then and we continue just to communicate
Mhm.
things that are bothering each other, you know things will always work out right as human interactions, because I think half of our downfall is communication.
Mm.
So
Well, 80% of communication is nonverbal, or 90% of communication nonverbal. One of them high percentages. I think it's not.
it's like it's high though. At
Is
the
it?
end of the day, it's a high percentage. What about you, Kiki?
I was gonna say finances because everybody knows that's what I'm working on currently.
Yeah.
So that is something I'm not figured out yet. But I'm actually gonna say it's probably really self confidence. Um, I will say that I don't fear failure at
Mm.
all, but I always have to have a safety net somewhere.
Mm.
So a lot of times I don't mind trying something new or discovering new things or just kind of going on a different path just to see how it works. But I always have to make sure I lay the foundation first and then jump. So I
Mhm.
think once I can kind of unlock that aspect of myself, because I feel like that all plays into like my finances, my health, working out, fitness, all that stuff, all the things that I'm focusing on strongly right now. I think it all plays into like my self confidence and um, just building a net for myself because I never felt like things that were foundational in my past were strong foundations.
Mhm.
So I always focus on like, okay, I don't feel like this is sturdy. Let me make sure this is sturdy, and then I'm gonna jump because if I miss, I'm just gonna come back to what's sturdy.
Mhm.
Mm,
Mhm.
So I think sometimes I just have to make a leap and just know that even if it's not sturdy, I'm not going to hit the ground hard.
Mhm.
yeah.
If you don't land on something next, you'll either fly. I think there's like a phrase something like that. Like my next step, if I don't land, I'll fly or something like that.
You better Super Mario that thing.
You better.
Just jump. You know how you keep jumping on the little tiny things.
Yeah, cute. Bloom, bloom, bloom.
Well, honestly, guys, what if you had a year to live, right?
Mhm.
Like they done told you this is it. This the year.
It's over for you.
This is it. Sorry, there ain't nothing we can do. What would you stop doing and what would you start doing?
I would quit my job. I would do as much as I can to learn more about my family as much as I can. Perfect Lingala. Finish writing my book. Perform as much as I can, wherever I can, however I can.
Mm.
And
I'm.
travel. I mean, that's a given, right? That is what's going to allow me to travel by doing all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
just travel, like travel. Just travel. I would travel. I would travel the world.
I think the first thing I would stop doing is definitely working because I literally have a year. I got enough sick leave to cover it. I definitely would stop working.
Fuck the sick leave.
I'm just saying, because what if the prognosis is wrong? You know, I'm always living
Something
on
to fall
that.
back on like Kiki.
Yeah, you gotta fall back. Like I ain't gonna be all out here all tore up because I thought I had a year left and I ain't have no year. You know, like Queen Latifah movie, Last Holiday, right? Like she
Oh,
in her bank account, she lived her life,
remember,
but
this is hypothetically. You literally have a year. There's no going back.
there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
No, you trying to alter. You are altering your fate. You can't alter your fate. The fate has been decided.
It's not a stain on the machine that said I got a year.
No, no.
Okay.
Shit.
I would try to find someone who believes in giving me the best year I can have because that's one thing I want to experience. I want to experience like a deep romance. I
Mm,
think for me, I've traveled a lot. I've been around the world. I've done a lot of things that I've already wanted to do. So I would want to find someone that is willing to like just enjoy the couples type stuff that I've never had a chance to do. Like I want to do matching pajamas. I want to like travel
mhm,
and do like vacation type stuff. Like I want to experience what it's like to live life with somebody who makes me feel like this is it. Like I want to die with you.
mhm.
So that's what I would spend my last year doing.
That's dope. I like that. What about you, Kiki?
So
You
I'm with
right.
Gigi. I'm gonna put in FMLA because I just don't
You
know if this
can't.
is
You
final.
can't. You can't.
God
There's no such
might have
thing.
a different plan for me.
There's
A
no such
right
thing.
here.
Just in case, you never know. God
You,
might bless
My
me.
you
God.
never know. He might say fight. They might have had the wrong chart. I don't know. So,
But this is exactly what I mean. We be
But
focused on the wrong stuff.
but this is
Be
our
in our own
human
bag.
experience though. Like this is our from our human experience, right? Like this is the human experience for me has been amazing. Like yes, it has its like hurt and pain, but
Hmm.
oh my god, that joy, like that happiness,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
oh, it's like
It hits different. Happiness hits different.
yeah, it does. So
Hmm.
Kiki, what else you gonna do? You say you gonna do uh, your
I'm going on FMLA
FMLA.
because then I still get a consistent check until
Oh
my
my
time runs
God.
out, right? So I'm still
Yep,
getting paid, still getting the money.
yep.
Definitely going to travel. Just trying to see different things. I'm going to try different foods I never tried before. Probably do a lot of different activities. I will reconnect back with family and kind of create a book based off of my life and things that literally how my whole upbringing came up, what I was thinking throughout the process, and then maybe another book where it's like my family history, if I can get that information.
Mhm.
Definitely a lot of hiking because I just feel good when I'm around nature. Like I just
Yeah.
feel really good in nature. So just anything that I can just be outside
Mhm.
and just could feel the air, the breeze, all that stuff. And I would have a lot of sex.
Oh
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's what the partnership that comes with the partnership, right? Like that comes with
Yeah, I would just
Your experience. Yes. Yes, Gigi. It should.
yeah, it
it
come with
should,
like
but yes, it hasn't been said, but yes, I would have lots and lots and lots of sex because it just makes you feel good. All the endorphins out. Why not spend your last year doing all the things that just makes you feel good?
Yeah,
yeah.
like Gigi said, you know how she said, I've traveled the world, I've done all that. I've had a lot of great sexual experiences. I've done that.
Like, what are some takeaways you guys gain from this?
Oh man,
Never stop allowing
if
yourself
you
to
don't,
feel as a human. Never stop. No matter how much you're trying to like suppress your feelings or suppress
Mhm.
things that you want to do or
Mhm.
suppress your gut or suppress like your what makes you, you know how we told you like happiness is a whole different feeling. Really sit down and ask yourself what makes you happy as a human being and do it. I don't care if it's a side hustle, I don't care if it's a hobby. Do it. Just do it. It'll just make your life easy, like much more happier.
Mm. What I take away is that like the human experience, you like I said, what I thought it was like you really need to experience like the full range of emotions, right? Like fully dive into that and be okay with the good as well as you are with the bad. Like that bad makes that good very good. Like there's no other experience like this. And I think, well, I know for sure that when you are at the end of your life, wherever your life may be ending, knowing that you lived it fully and
Mm,
openly and willingly, it gives you a different type of peace
yeah.
when this experience is over.
Yes. It's gonna hit so different.
Yeah, that's what I'm taking away with this.
That was
What about you, Kiki?
that was good.
I would definitely say the connectivity is what I feel is human. Because it seems like even when we think of what makes us happy and what we think is what the meaning of life is and all that stuff, it
Mm-hmm.
all stems back to how we connect to the world, how we connect to animals, how we connect to nature, how we connect to one self, how we connect to other humans. It all just goes back to connectivity. And just like they said, find what makes you happy and live in that space because when it's all done, you want to be able to say, I'm ready
Mm-hmm.
because I've done all that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I take away.
That was
Mm.
great.
Wow, that was great.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If there's any other topics that you want us to cover, hit us up in the comments. Hit us
Yes.
up in the comments. Check us out on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify,
Yeah.
check us out on YouTube too. Just hit a like. You heard us already. Listen at least 30 seconds. Hit a like, comment, leave a little message for us. But
Yeah.
and if you're already on YouTube, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all for subscribing. But definitely hit us up on all platforms, our Instagram, our TikTok at 30 in a mess, or hit up us up on our website, 30andmess.com. That's 30ANDAMESS. And check out our merch. Get yourself a sweater. It's cold out there. It's cold out there.
It's so cold in the
Um,
deep.
yep.
And this
Get this.
one is cozy, y'all. I love the sweaters.
Sweaters is hitting. Sweaters is hitting. I'm telling you. You gonna put it on. People like, what's that? And you just, I'm a mess, bro. I'm a mess. But yeah, we love y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in. And again, we want to hear y'all feedback. So let us know. And until then, see y'all next week. We love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.